At least 8 civilians killed in Somalia in an attack by Islamic terrorists on a hotel in Mogadishu. Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab group claims responsibility for the attack. Russian President Vladimir Putin agrees to an IAEA mission to Ukraine's Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. International Atomic Energy Agency welcomes the statements that have been made by Russia and Ukraine. The US Defense Department announces new $775 million package for defense equipment and ammunition for Ukraine. The package includes various types of missiles, artillery and mine clearing systems. Myanmar's military chief says that the junta is open to negotiations with ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi and would consider allowing her to return home after verdicts in a litany of cases against her have been reached. An IMF delegation is to visit Sri Lanka next week to resume aid talks. Sri Lanka had defaulted on its $51 billion foreign debt in April and is seeking help from the IMF after months of food, fuel and medicines shortage. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S Jaishankar will pay an official visit to Brazil, Paraguay and Argentina from the 22nd to the 27th of August. This will be the External Affairs Minister's first visit to the South American region. During the visit, in addition to bilateral engagements with his counterparts, the EAM will also call on the top leadership in all the three countries. And in cricket, India have won the toss. They've opted to bowl first against Zimbabwe in the second one-day international of a three-match series in Harare. India are 1-up in the series to Zimbabwe's 0 wins. Namaskar, you're with the latest here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, first up, we're taking you to Somalia, where a huge tragedy has taken place. At least 8 civilians have been confirmed killed in an attack by Islamic terrorists on a hotel in capital Mogadishu, as security forces continue to battle gunmen holed up inside. Fighters from the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab group stormed the popular Hayat Hotel on Friday evening in a hail of gunfire and bomb blasts. It's the biggest attack in Mogadishu since Somalia's new president, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, was elected in May after many months of political instability. Now, the International Atomic Energy Agency has welcomed the statements indicating that both Ukraine and Russia supported the IAEA's aim to send a mission to ZNPP, that's the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. Russian President Vladimir Putin held a telephonic conversation with French President Macron. Both leaders noted the importance of sending an IAEA mission to Zaporizhia nuclear power plant as soon as possible. More in this report.
Both Ukraine and Russia have indicated their support to International Atomic Energy Agency's aim to send a mission to the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine. On Friday, Russian President Vladimir Putin held a telephone conversation with the President of France, Emmanuel Macron. Both leaders noted the importance of sending an IAEA mission to the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant as soon as possible. Macron's office, Elysee, said that Putin had agreed to send a mission of experts from the International Atomic Energy Agency to the site. Zelensky has already agreed on the parameters of a mission of the IAEA to the plant. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said an International Atomic Energy Agency mission to the Zaporizhia nuclear plant could re-establish the station's security.
Ukrainian diplomats, our partners, representatives of the UN, IAEA are working out details of the mission which is to be sent to the Zaporizhia nuclear plant. The return of comprehensive security to the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant and Enhodar may start with the mission. I am grateful to all those who joined the effort.
On Friday, the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Mariano Grossi, welcomed recent statements indicating that both Ukraine and Russia supported the IAEA's aim to send a mission to Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. He also renewed his urgent appeal for maximum military restraint in the area of Ukraine's Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. In view of serious situation, the Director General reiterated the need to send an IAEA mission to carry out essential safety, security and safeguards activities at the site in the southern Ukraine. He said IAEA is in active consultations with all parties regarding its efforts to send such a mission as soon as possible. Following reports of possible nuclear safety and security risk related to the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, UN Chief Antonio Guterres had warned any potential damage to the Zaporizhia nuclear power station would be suicide. Guterres also said the terms for the mission and the makeup of the team had been shared with Russia and Ukraine. The UN chief also said he intends to appoint Brazilian General Carlos dos Santos Cruz to lead the inquiry. Russia took over the Zaporizhia nuclear power station in March, soon after sending tens of thousands of troops into Ukraine in what Moscow calls a special military operation. United States said it is deeply concerned about Russia's military presence in the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine, said State Department spokesperson Ned Price on Thursday. Nuclear experts fear fighting might damage the plant's spent fuel pools or the cooling system for the reactors. Russia and Ukraine have traded accusations this month regarding the Zaporizhia nuclear plant in southern Ukraine, which dominates the south bank of vast reservoir on the Dnipro River. Bureau Report, DD India.
Russia's state-owned energy company Gazprom has said a key pipeline conveying natural gas to Europe will shut down for 3 days at the end of this month to undergo routine maintenance. The unscheduled maintenance order on the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which runs under the Baltic Sea to Germany, deepens an energy standoff between Moscow and Brussels, which has already helped send inflation surging in the region and raise this risk of rationing and recession. In a statement posted online on Friday, Gazprom said that the only operational turbine at a key compressor station along the pipeline, which links Western Russia and Germany, will shut down for routine maintenance from the 31st of August till the 2nd of September. Flows of natural gas through Nord Stream 1 have been contentious. The shutdown will come a month after Gazprom restored natural gas supply through the pipeline to only a fifth of its capacity after a previous shutoff for maintenance. The U.S. Defense Department on Friday announced a new $775 million package of defense equipment and ammunition for Ukraine, including various types of missiles, artillery and mine-clearing systems. The package includes more precision-guided missiles for the HIMARS systems that have permitted Ukrainian forces to strike Russian command centers and munitions depots far behind front lines, and more anti-armor weapons including TOW missiles and Javelin systems. It also includes Scan-Eagle surveillance drones, high-speed anti-radiation missiles that hone in on ground-based radar systems, and 105mm howitzers, along with 36,000 artillery rounds for them. The officials said Ukraine's forces have made good use of the now 19 packages of arms and United States has provided since Moscow invaded on the 24th of February, helping them blunt the advance of Russian forces. The official also conceded that the Ukrainians themselves have not been able to recapture significant territory along the front lines in the country's east and south. Meanwhile, civilians continue to escape from Pokrovsk city in Donetsk region as the battle continues between Russian and Ukrainian forces. Passengers, including children and the elderly, boarded trains away from the city, which lies close to the front line between Ukrainian and pro-Russian forces. Earlier in July, Ukraine announced the mandatory evacuation of people from Donetsk region, which has been the scene of fierce fighting with Russia, to save civilian lives. Now, shifting focus, Britain's Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and her rival Rishi Sunak spoke at a Conservative hustings event in Manchester on Friday. Both candidates spoke on a range of topics including energy, EU laws, refugees issues, among others. Liz Truss also promised to scrap all remaining European Union laws that still apply in Britain by 2023 if she wins the Conservative Party leadership contest and becomes Britain's next Prime Minister.
Britain's Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and her rival Rishi Sunak spoke at a Conservative hustings event in Manchester on Friday. Both the candidates spoke on a range of topics, including immigration, energy, among others. Truss vowed to scrap remaining EU laws by end of 2023 if she becomes the Prime Minister. Sunak wants to tighten the legal definition of who qualifies for asylum to be in line with the UN Refugee Convention.
The first is very quickly move away from the European definition of what an asylum seeker is. Because it is too broad, it gets exploited by lefty lawyers and means that we can't send people back who shouldn't be here. We can move to a different convention and we should do it as soon as possible. That's the first thing.
We need to be bold, and that is what I would do as Prime Minister. I would unlock opportunity. I would have a clear plan for growth to deliver for our entire country. First of all, that means making the most of the post-Brexit opportunities. I would get all the EU laws off our statute books by the end of 2023.
Sunak once again criticized Truss over her plans to deal with the cost of living crisis over the winter amid spiraling energy bills, saying he would provide direct support to people struggling with energy bills.
Right, we are really going to run out of time.
Goes through the autumn and winter and does not provide direct support to those vulnerable people. I believe it will be a moral failure and the British people will never forgive us. And if I'm Prime Minister, I will not let that happen.
And what I would also do, if selected as Prime Minister, is make sure we're using the resources in the North Sea so that we are more energy independent than we are at the moment, as well as moving forward quicker with nuclear power. Small modular reactors, nuclear power stations. We need to be doing all of this.
The scale of the hit to UK households from their energy bills will become clearer next Friday when regulators announce the latest leap in the cap on electricity and gas tariffs, which have surged since Russia's attack on Ukraine. Already almost doubled their levels a year ago, the tariffs could double again by early next year. Conservative MPs narrowed the options for Boris Johnson's successor as party leader and Prime Minister to a choice between two candidates, including Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and former Chancellor Rishi Sunak. The pair have already set out some of their policies. The results will be announced on September 5th. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, in a fresh development in the neighborhood, Myanmar's military chief has said that the junta is open to negotiations with ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi to end the crisis sparked by its coup after her trial in a junta-run court had concluded. Suu Kyi has been detained since the generals toppled her government in a coup on the 1st of February last year, ending the Southeast Asian country's brief period of democracy. She has so far been jailed for 17 years for a clutch of charges rights groups say are politically motivated. Suu Kyi faces decades more in prison if convicted on a raft of other charges she is battling in a closed junta court. Journalists have been barred from these proceedings, her lawyers gagged from speaking to the media, and the junta has given no indication of when her trials might finish. And still in the neighborhood, the International Monetary Fund has said that a team will travel to Sri Lanka next week to resume aid talks that were interrupted amid the unrest that led to the resignation of the nation's president. The island nation defaulted on its $51 billion foreign debt in April and is seeking help from the IMF after months of food, fuel and medicine shortage. Amid runaway inflation, the country's central bank has warned that the economy could suffer a record contraction of more than 8% this year, with inflation peaking at 65%. The IMF in a statement said staff from the Washington-based crisis lender plan to visit Colombo during 24th to the 31st of August to continue discussions with the Sri Lankan authorities on economic and financial reforms and policies. And back home, External Affairs Minister Dr. S Jaishankar will be visiting Brazil, Paraguay and Argentina from the 22nd to the 27th of this month. This will be the first visit of the minister to the South American countries. During the visit, the External Affairs Minister will meet the top leadership of these countries and his counterparts. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that Dr. Jaishankar will inaugurate the premises of the newly opened Indian Embassy in Paraguay. In Brazil and Argentina, the minister will co-chair the Joint Commission meetings with his counterparts. He will also interact with business leaders and the Indian communities in Brazil, Paraguay and Argentina. BIMSTEC Secretary General Tenzin Lekpel will visit India from the 22nd to the 25th of August at the invitation of Saurav Kumar, Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs. Tenzin Lekpel will hold discussions with senior Indian officials on how to make the BIMSTEC organization and cooperation forward in keeping with the mandate of the BIMSTEC leaders. India leads the security cooperation pillar on the BIMSTEC platform that includes disaster management, marine cooperation and energy security, all of which are vital for the attainment of SDG targets in the region. The Indian Air Force joined a 17-nation air combat exercise in Darwin, Australia on Friday. The 3-week Pitch Black exercise is a biennial multinational exercise hosted by the Royal Australian Air Force. The exercise will focus on large force employment warfare. The Indian Air Force and 16 other air forces will be participating with over 100 aircraft and 2,500 military personnel for one of the biggest military exercises in the Southern Hemisphere. The Indian Air Force contingent led by Group Captain YPS Negi comprises over 100 air warriors deployed with 4 Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets and 2 C-17 heavy lift aircraft. They will undertake multi-domain air combat missions in a complex environment and will exchange best practices with the participating air forces. And connected to that, an Indian Air Force contingent has already reached Australia to participate in the exercise Pitch Black 2022, which is scheduled to be held, like I said, from the 19th to the 8th of August to the 8th of September in Darwin. This again is a biennial multinational exercise hosted by the Royal Australian Air Force. It will focus on large force employment warfare. The last edition was conducted in 2018. The 2020 edition of the exercise was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This year's exercise will see the participation of over 100 aircraft and 2,500 military personnel from various air forces. The Indian Air Force contingent led by Group Captain YPS Negi comprises over 100 air warriors deployed with 4 Su-30 MKI fighter jets and 2 C-17 aircraft. They will undertake multi-domain air combat missions in a complex environment and will exchange best practices with the participating air forces. Now moving on, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh attended the inaugural session of the National Seminar on Introspection Armed Forces Tribunal. Pointing to higher number of pending cases in courts, the Defence Minister lauded the Armed Forces Tribunals for timely redressing the cases. Union Minister for Law and Justice Kiren Rijiju was also present during the event.
हम सभी जानते हैं कि हमारे कोर्ट में लगातार केसेस बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, जैसा कि हमारे इस आर्म फोर्सेस ट्रिब्यूनल के चेयरपर्सन ने भी कहा और हमारे लॉ मिनिस्टर ने भी कहा, न केवल बढ़ते जा रहे हैं बल्कि केसेस अलग अलग डोमेन के होते हैं, उनमें डाइवर्सिटी होती है और इस डाइवर्सिटी के चलते केसेस का डिस्पोजल काफी टाइम कंज्यूमिंग भी हो जाता है। परिणाम ये होता है कि तारीख पर तारीख रखी जाती है और केसेस की प्रेगनेंसी भी बढ़ती जाती है। कई बार तो कोर्ट कचहरी के चक्कर में पड़कर इंसान का सब कुछ खत्म हो जाता है पर मुकदमा खत्म नहीं होता। लेकिन आज फोर्सेस ट्रिब्यूनल में प्रमोटर उतनी वैसी बहुत स्थिति नहीं होती, लेकिन फिर समय कुछ न कुछ कभी कभी कुछ केसेस में लग ही जाता है। लेकिन हमारे आर्म फोर्सेस ट्रिब्यूनल के चेयरपर्सन ने इसको बहुत ही अधिक ध्यान दिया है।
And Union Law and Justice Minister Kiren Rijiju said that the judiciary is a strong pillar of democracy. He said that the Armed Forces Tribunal has played an important role in fulfilling the aspirations of serving personnel and ex-servicemen in their journey so far.
प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी का एक बहुत बड़ा फोकस रहा है कि क्विक डिलीवरी ऑफ जस्टिस, उसके लिए जो भी करना होगा हमारे मंत्रालय के माध्यम से जो भी सहायता चाहिए, जैसे भी कोऑर्डिनेशन कॉपरेशन चाहिए, हम पूरे देने के लिए तैयार है। जो भी आपको लीगल एड, जो भी सर्विसेज नासा के माध्यम से, स्टेट लीगल सर्विसेज अथॉरिटी से, डिस्ट्रिक्ट में तहसील में भी है हमारे, तो जो लॉ लेवल में हमारे जो पैरल लॉयर्स है, पैरा लीगल वॉलंटियर्स है, हमारा जो जितना भी जो टीम है, जो कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर के माध्यम से हम लोग एक सिस्टम क्रिएट किया है, उसको आप लोग भरपूर इस्तेमाल कीजिए ताकि हम सब मिल करके लोगों को न्याय दे सके। खास करके आर्म फोर्सेस से जुड़े हुए उनके जिंदगी को आसान करना ये हम लोग का प्रथम और प्रमुख प्राथमिकता होना ये आवश्यकता है।
The 16th Foreign Office consultations between India and Singapore were held in Singapore on the 19th of August. During the FOCs, the two sides reviewed the entire gamut of bilateral relations and expressed satisfaction at the present level of engagements. Both sides emphasized the importance of bilateral political exchanges to realize the full potential of the partnership. The delegations also discussed enhancing cooperation in a number of areas including trade and investment, startups and innovation, fintech, smart cities, infrastructure, skill development and connectivity. Defence cooperation between both the countries was also reviewed. Given that Singapore is a current country coordinator for India in ASEAN, the two sides exchanged views on India-ASEAN engagements and raising of the relationship to a higher level. In Himachal Pradesh, heavy rains caused widespread damage to public and private property in Kangra and Chamba districts as flash floods swept away vehicles while debris entered homes. People abandoned their homes and rushed to safety as the drain, which meanders through the middle of the town, flowed over the danger mark. Dalhousie Sub-Divisional Magistrate said that losses were being assessed. According to the Met Department's daily bulletin, Kangra received the maximum rainfall of 217.8 millimeters, followed by 181.5 millimeters in Dharamshala. Weathermen have forecast heavy rains till Saturday in the state, and a yellow alert has been issued for 11 out of 12 districts. In a tragic incident again, devotees got suffocated due to the overcrowding during the Mangala Aarti at Baki Bihari temple on the occasion of Krishna Janmashtami. Mathura SSP Abhishek Yadav said that people's health deteriorated due to the overcrowding of the temple, in which a woman and a male devotee died. The injured are currently undergoing medical treatment at the hospital.
बाकी बिहारी मंदिर पे आज मंगला आरती थी, तो मंगला आरती के समय जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि जनता की आस्था की वजह से अथाह भीड़ रहती है और भारी संख्या में श्रद्धालु आते हैं, तो श्रद्धालुओं का आवागमन उसी तरह से था। आरती के समय 2 और 4 गेट में से 2 और 3 गेट से एंट्री होती है, 1 और 4 से एग्जिट होता है और काफ़ी संख्या में श्रद्धालु जो थे वो मंदिर पर ही थे, मतलब मंदिर परिसर के अंदर थे और काफ़ी श्रद्धालु बाहर भी थे। और वो आरती के समय जैसा कि रहता है कि श्रद्धा इतनी रहती है लोगों की कि सभी लोग अंदर आने का प्रयास करते हैं, तो लोग आ भी रहे थे, आने का प्रयास भी कर रहे थे। और 1 और 4 से हमारा एग्जिट रहता है, तो जो एग्जिट नंबर गेट था 4, उस पर एक व्यक्ति, क्योंकि उस समय गर्मी भी काफ़ी थी, ह्यूमिडिटी भी काफ़ी थी और भीड़ भी काफ़ी थी और भीड़ का प्रेशर भी काफ़ी था, तो उसकी वजह से एक व्यक्ति जो थे वो सब अपना ह्यूमिडिटी और इन सब की वजह से थोड़ा सा वो फेंट कर गए। फेंट करके वो गेट नंबर 4 पे वहीं पे पहले बैठे और फिर लेट गए। उनको तत्काल पुलिस के द्वारा प्रशासनिक टीम जो
Again in Jammu and Kashmir, the upward movement of pilgrims to Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine in Riyasi district was temporarily suspended through the new track on Friday evening due to heavy rains which triggered flash floods in the region. On the old track, the water level increased in the Ban Ganga, resulting in flash floods for some time, prompting the authorities to advise yatris to wait for some time till the water level recedes. The Shrine Board has given priority to the yatris currently in Bhavan area, coming down towards Sanji Chhat and then to Katra under the close watch of Shrine Board staff. Also, the police and the CRPF and overall supervision of the additional chief executive officer who is stationed in at the Bhavan. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today reached to JPNA Trauma Center at EAMS New Delhi to inquire about the health of 3 injured ITBP personnel. On the 16th of August 2022, a tragic bus accident took place near Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir when the ITBP Jawans were returning from Chandanwadi after successfully performing the security duties in the Amarnath Yatra 2022. 7 Jawans lost their lives while 32 were injured in the incident. The injured Jawans were evacuated to Srinagar on the same day for treatment. 3 critically injured ITBP personnel were shifted to JPNA Trauma Center EAMS New Delhi through special air ambulances from Srinagar for better treatment. Time now to get you a sports update, and the second match of the 3-match ODI series between India and Zimbabwe is being played today. It's underway right now. India won the toss and decided to bowl first. Till the last reports had come in, Zimbabwe were 67 for the loss of 4 wickets. Now the score is 71 for the loss of 4 wickets. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of the news, but all the latest continues right here on DD India. Stay with us.
Big ideas, big dreams, and big achievements. Meet and learn from successful startup founders. Watch StartupChampions 2.0.
Turning crisis into opportunity, transforming ideas into action. Stories of real change, tales of sustainable solution.
This series is going to tell stories of such change makers.
Watch Change Makers on DD India.
If you don't see the problem first, you're going to create a solution that may cause another problem. So we developed our own sensors, which we call MMG, mechanomyogram. And with that, we were able to bypass a lot of these problems where our users with the sense of touch technology are able to learn to operate a single device on their very first day of evaluation within 30 minutes.
I think we should be prepared for the worst. Whenever we do financial outcomes, we always think that this is going to happen, but it only happens on the Excel sheet. We remove the element called the human element. Life is precious and just live today. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about yesterday. Live today.
The celebrations were justified. The mobilization was required for the team to deliver the best results. But now, it's time to move to the next highest stage. From the national selection to the international finals, they have to move away from high-pitched decibel levels. It's time for something more meaningful, more tangible, more rewardful. The final stage of ABU Rubicon 2022 have come. ABU's popular annual reward contest among college teams. Hosted in New Delhi by India's public broadcaster, Doordarshan and IIT Delhi. The event will take place online. Come, be a witness to the finals of ABU Rubicon. Watch the event live on DD Sports. Special reports on DD News and DD India on 21st August 2022.